majority of the things in my life through consumer recommendation from people that I like. And I'm not even playing with y'all because the budget is way too low for me to broadcast a live game of tag, okay? That's not coordination, that's not for me. But I've seen one too many influencers promote low-key bullshit, and I don't care anymore. I'm gonna call it out.
I'm sure you've seen the paid partnership label appear on some of the Instagram stories and posts you scroll through every day, or a paid promotion banner in the beginning of a YouTube video. That's one of the numerous ways influencers can disclose sponsorship to their audiences. So while researching for a video you will see soon on how influencers and content creators make money on social media, I came across a recurring issue. Lots of channels and IG accounts I was using for my data collection did not disclose their sponsorships properly or uniformly. That got me thinking, there must be a right way to do this, so why aren't all those influencers doing it? In today's video, I will share with you the statistics I collected on how bad influencers are at adhering to FTC guidelines and platform-specific policies in terms of disclosing sponsorships and endorsement. You'll be surprised to learn that none of the channels I evaluated actually properly disclose paid promotions 100% of the time. Same with Instagram. And you might ask, why does this even matter? Isn't it obvious they are sponsored when they have a discount code or affiliate links in the description box or something? Well, according to the Federal Trade Commission, or FTC, that's not obvious enough, no. First and foremost, the reason why we need proper disclosure of paid promotion and other forms of advertisement on social media is for consumer protection. Not everyone has the same level of digital literacy, and therefore, even though for avid social media users, sponsorships have been increasingly easy to spot due to their growing popularity as the primary source of income of influencers, not everyone will be able to recognize them as such. So in order to not be perceived as predatory or misleading, sponsorship must comply with FTC guidelines and platforms' policies. There are also reasons why it should matter to the content creators too. The first one should obviously be to be as transparent and honest as possible with their audiences, but that technically should be a given. The FTC obviously does not have the tools and manpower to enforce their policies on all social media, but rather work on a case-by-case basis when reports are filed against specific individuals. In 2017, they took some larger action steps to enforce their policy and actually took legal action against 21 Instagram influencers who violated their guidelines, mostly celebrities though. But this does not mean that they won't be able to identify accounts that violate policies in the future. Same goes for platforms. As of right now, all major user-generated content platforms like YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, etc. have their own guidelines and policies for branded content. They have yet to enforce them more efficiently, but since they are already using algorithmic tools to flag and detect videos containing profanity, adult content, violence, and harmful content, among other things, they could easily add keywords like sponsor to detecting tools and flag videos that don't have the paid promotion box checked, but include this word or similar phrases. So now let's look at the guidelines. According to the FTC's recently revised endorsement guides, which will be linked down below, the FTC generally prohibits deceptive advertising, and failure to adhere with their policy may result in law enforcement actions alleging violation of the FTC Act. What matters most to the FTC is the placement or location of disclosure. The key is for disclosure to catch users' attention and be placed where they aren't likely to miss it. It should be clear and conspicuous, easy to see, and use unambiguous language. Disclosures should not be hidden or buried in the footnotes, in blocks of text people are not likely to read, or in hyperlinks. The FTC also prohibits influencers from falsely advertising positive experiences with products they have not tried or had a bad experience with. They also have specific guidelines regarding free gifts or products, affiliates, and other specific instances. According to the FTC, free products with or without expectation of promotion should be disclosed, as well as affiliate links, although the guidelines are a bit interpretative in these cases. Basically, if you talk about something you got for free, you should disclose it. If you talk about something you were previously paid to talk about in a non-sponsored post or video, you should still disclose that you were once paid to talk about it. If you go on a branded trip, you should disclose it. If you post a picture that doesn't share an opinion on the product you got for free or got paid to feature, you should still disclose it. Tagging a brand without explicitly disclosing the nature of the relationship or whether you got paid or got a product for free is not enough. If you are a spokesperson, brand ambassador, or sponsored athlete, you should disclose it every time you talk about the company. Disclosures made below the read more line on Instagram posts or YouTube description box are not good enough because they can easily be missed. Same goes for general disclaimers like some links may be affiliates. In stories and text, the disclaimer should be large enough and concise enough to read and be understood easily. In video format, especially on mobile platforms like Instagram and TikTok, there should be a visible written disclosure in case the user does not have the sound on. As for content creators located outside the United States, they most likely have their own consumer protection agencies like Canada's Office of Consumer Affairs, Australia's Competitive and Consumer Commission, ACCC, or the European Commission, which will have similar laws and policies as the FTC. The FTC also advised that if it is reasonably foreseeable that your content will be viewed and affect US consumers, then you should comply with their policies. On top of FTC guidelines, most platforms have their own policies and guidelines content creator must follow. YouTube explicitly says that content creator must let them know their video contains sponsorships by selecting the paid promotion box in the video details page when uploading a video. This will enable a banner saying paid promotion to appear in the top left corner of the video in the first 10 seconds of the video. Instagram has a similar feature that allows creators to disclose sponsorships on feed posts, stories, lives, and reels. It is a feature only available to business and creator accounts, but anyone can apply to become one of those. There is a feature that allows a label to be placed above the post or in the top section of the stories or reels that disclose paid partnership and can also feature the brand the partnership is with. Their policy also requires anyone, no matter if they are a creator, business, or personal account, to tag business partners in their branded content posts when there's an exchange of value between a creator or publisher and a business partner. TikTok also requires creators to enable a branded content toggle when posting branded content. Note that these platform-specific policies are not necessarily enough to actually meet the FTC guidelines. Also note that most of these platforms lack guidelines for free gifts or products. Aside from implicit guidelines provided by the FTC, you might see people volunteering the information through the hashtag gifted. So with that in mind, let's see what my data analysis uncovered. First, we will take a look at YouTube channels and then we will move on to Instagram. For the purpose of today's video, I reviewed 26 YouTube channels, primarily from the lifestyle niche, and collected data on sponsored videos from the last 3 months. I defined actual proper sponsorship disclosure as both adhering to YouTube's policy by having the paid promotion banner present at the beginning of the video and the FTC guidelines of verbally disclosing the sponsorship during the sponsored segment and including unambiguous disclosure in the top of the description. I decided to be a little tolerant and count separately channels who have any kind of disclosure anywhere in the description box, even though if it's not visible at first, although that technically isn't respecting the FTC guideline. Here's what I found out. Only 20% of the 159 sponsored videos I analyzed actually had proper sponsorship disclosure rate. Another 18% fell into the semi-proper. Furthermore, only 61% of the videos complied to YouTube's policy alone of having the paid partnership banner. What is crazy is that no channel had 100% actual proper disclosure rate, which means that no channel included in my analysis did it right every single video. 8 channels out of 26 had 100% proper disclosure rate if you counted the semi-proper disclosure, and 10 channels actually had 0% proper or semi-proper disclosure rate. Some of them did additional things like overlay text in videos either at the beginning or in the sponsored segment. Some mentioned the sponsorship in the first few seconds of the video, and some also used more ambiguous language in their disclosure. In a specific channel's case, 11 out of 13 videos said not sponsored at the bottom of the description box despite having a sponsorship. That's pretty bad. And one channel did not even mention the sponsorship out loud in the video despite having the banner and the disclosure at the bottom of the description box, which can be deceiving. To be clear, I consider the use of partnering with and brought to you by over sponsored by and thanks blah blah for sponsoring today's video as ambiguous since the FTC doesn't actually define it clearly. I also acknowledge that my data is not necessarily representative of the industry as a whole since I only included 26 channels of one specific niche, but it highlights a problem that seems to be way too prevalent to be ignored. Moving on to Instagram, which, believe it or not, is even worse. I reviewed only 15 lifestyle accounts over a period of 3 months and took a look at their static and reel feeds posts. No stories were included. Out of 128 sponsored posts, only 44% complied with Instagram's platform policy of using the paid partnership label. Only 7.8% followed FTC guideline of having some kind of partnership disclosure visible in the first couple lines of the caption. And only 4.7% actually did both at the same time, resulting in actual proper disclosure of sponsorship. There was also a wide range of labels used to disclose sponsorship, some more ambiguous than others, including hashtag ad, hashtag brand name partner, hashtag brand name ambassador, and hashtag sponsored. I also found 68 cases of uncertain or undisclosed product placement or sponsorship. These included giveaways, partners stayed at hotels, a lot of influencer account and brand account collabs with no paid partnership labels, and quite a few discount codes and brand mentions with no indication of a relationship with the brand. Lastly, I also found that 10 out of those 15 accounts had a 0% proper disclosure rate. With all of this, I'm left to wonder, since sponsorships are most of these influencers' most lucrative source of income, shouldn't they know how to do it right? It's essentially their job. They are responsible for knowing the platform's policies and follow FTC guidelines. I understand that smaller creators could not have taken the time to inform themselves on actual requirements of disclosure, but for full-time influencers that do this for a living, learn how to do it right. What the heck? I mean, we could argue that the influencers with teams behind them and managers brokering the sponsorship deals with brands that could also advise them on how to properly disclose paid advertisement. We could also argue that brands should do their due diligence and require this kind of disclosure when investing in sponsored content, but realistically, they are the least likely party to benefit from extremely explicit disclosure. I think because everyone is doing it so inconsistently, influencers just modeled their disclosures after one another's, not realizing that no one is doing it right. Ultimately, the FTC guidelines are not often standardized and often not easily enforced on digital content creation on social media. Platforms are trying to protect consumers, but is what they're doing enough? I must say though that celebrities have been getting branded gifts and PR packages for longer than influencers have, with no way to disclose what they were given for free. But I think it was acceptable when the only times you saw these things were on red carpets or candid shots taken by paparazzis, or if they shouted out a brand they ended up genuinely loving. But with the advent of social media, product promotion has become exponentially pervasive. And so some guidelines and standards must be put in place to protect consumers being misled. I guess I should also take a second to acknowledge that while I've only gotten a few free things through my other channel as a wannabe influencer over the years, I'm guilty of improper disclosure as well. I think I got paid a couple times, and I may or may not have used the paid promotion button. It was years ago. And for the few PR things I did get for free, like several Love Every Play kits, Zo'e baby wraps and PJs from when my son was born, and older stuff when I was doing some more like beauty lifestyle stuff back in the days, I'm sure I did not disclose it properly each time. And I could easily blame other influencers because I was modeling my disclosure to what I saw the standard in the industry, was unaware that it was not actually in line with FTC guidelines. For example, one of the most prevalent types of disclosures I've observed and partaken in myself is an FTC disclaimer at the bottom of a YouTube description box. As we now have learned today, that is not proper disclosure according to the FTC, since they require disclosure to appear before the show more line break. So with all of that in mind, what are your thoughts? Do you think this actually matters? Do you actually care? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching.